ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्म पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। नमः श्री शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोह ग्राहग्रासैक कर्मणे। We have completed chapter 1 of this Panchadashi, which was on Tattva Viveka. And in that very first chapter, Sri Vidyaranya had given us the insight into how to discriminate clearly Tat and Tvam. The Mahavakya, in which the supreme reality is pointed out in the form of oneness of Atma and Brahman. Atma Brahma Aikyatva Nirupanam. That is what is done by the Mahavakya. And when we come to begin with that understanding of oneness of Brahman and Atman, the supreme reality with the individual self, the natural question that would arise in anybody's mind is, how is that I, the one who is conditioned by the matter vestures, can be that one which is all-pervading reality? Either that all-pervading reality is something remote and should be achieved upon removing or destroying these matter vestures which I am associated with, or that the bondage that is there is possible to be removed only by some kind of a grace. So those who take to the point of only after physical body's destruction moksha is possible, they get on to upasana marga, karma upasana. And karma upasana is meant for those who want to achieve punya and thereby get the ability or the quality to remove identification with the body upon death. This is called krama mukti. Those who think it is by the grace of the Lord alone this is possible, they do daiva upasana. The karma upasana and daiva upasana. But Vedanta is neither about karma upasana nor about daiva upasana. It is not about upasana at all. Upasana by that word, what we mean is worship. Worship through rituals as prescribed by the Vedas, or worship of a chosen deity because of whose grace that ability to discard this physical body and reach the absolute is possible. Krama mukti or videha mukti it's called. Now, Vedanta is not about krama mukti or videha mukti. It is about jivan mukti, which is to say that even while you are apparently associated with this matter vestures, which are made fashioned by the Panchabhutas, you can realize the absolute nature of yourself. You don't need to wait for the physical destruction of the body or accumulation of punya through upasana. In this regard, we should not consider that both are not necessary. Bhagavan Shankara is of the point of view that upasana is necessary for two purposes: chitta aikagryam, chitta shuddhihi cha. Meaning, one-pointedness of the mind, which is preconditioned by or pre-qualified by purity of mind. So, chitta shuddhyartam karma, tada chitta ekagriyartam upasana. And so, if that we understand clearly, it is not that upasana is disregarded by Bhagavan Shankaracharya, but on the other hand, he says they have a place, but not for moksha. Mokshartam jnanameva sadhanam. For that, moksha jnanam alone is the sadhana. Now, okay, so if that is the case, what do we do with this body and the matter vestures I am associated with? How do you say that it is possible for a person who is seeking Jivan Mukti can, how does he or she relate with this matter? Now, the Bhashyakar here begins with a beautiful statement. He says, Sadeva Somya idam agra asid ekameva advitiyam iti shrutya jagat utpattehe pura yat jagat karanam sadrupa advitiyam Brahmashrutam. Meaning what? In the Chandogya Upanishad, it is very clearly said by Uddalaka Muni to Shvetaketu that Sadeva, that truth alone, hey Saumya, oh good looking one, idam agre asid. Idam in this word, agre in the beginning, Sadeva asid. Truth alone, absolute reality alone, is, was, shall be. But to start with, he says it was. It was only that one, which is what? Ekam advitiyam. One without a second. That alone was. And Gurudev used to make a joke out of that, that when you come to know, it becomes second. So when did the time begin? When did the time begin? The moment before, the moment after, the moment before you thought about it. The moment you thought about it, it becomes another second, no? So you understand. That's what we say, just wait a second. Why? Because the first one is not available to you. Only second is available. Anyway, so anything that has come after it is only second. But that which was there before the second is what? Ekam. Advitiyam. So when it is said in the Upanishad that absolute reality alone was, there are very many ways to look at this. Number one, few of them we'll see. Simple logic is nothing comes out of nothing. If you say the world is or you are, there must be something which was. From that which is already existing alone, anything else would come. Which means what? The first one of the nature of existence, it cannot be non-existent. From non-existence, nothing can come. If you say, I am alive, I am being, I am existing, then I must have come out of, or I must be a product of that which was existing. So, Sadeva Saumya Idamakre Asi. Existence was there. Now, existence was there when it is said of what form it is, which particular form? No form. Because if you say it had a form, that means that form must have come for something else. It must have been originated from something else which had the form. Formless, nameless, dimensionless, timeless presence. From that alone, everything has appeared. So, Jagat Karanam Pura Yat Jagat Utpehe Jagat Karanam Sad Rupam of the nature of existence, Advitiyam, one without a second, Brahma. Iti Shrutam. That is what is known or heard. Tasya avang mana tasvang tasya avang manasa gojaratvena, that which is incomprehensible, inaccessible by speech, by mind, swadaha avagantum ashakyatvat. Its nature not being comprehensible by any other means, tat karyatvena tat upadibhudasya bhuta panchakasya vivekadvara tat avabodhanaya ubodhatvena bhuta panchaka vivekam pradijanite. Gurudev always said, when we don't know the cause, we start from the effect. All the sciences are like that only. We look at the phenomena or a situation or a happening, and then when we go, what is the cause for this? From the effect, you go to the cause. Because effect expresses the nature of the cause. So let us say you walk out and there is a lot of water all over the road. Then you know, it must be rained. Though you are not seeing, you are seeing the effect. That is called what is known as, what is that pramana? Anumana Pramana. Anumana Pramana. It's not Pratyaksha, it's Anuman. Because Anumiyate, it is, you have come to understand that through what? Inference. Inference. Inference presupposes the relationship between cause and effect. That this is the effect, and the cause must be something which I have not seen, but you can infer that. In the same way, Bhuta Panchaka, this world is an effect. An effect in the sense it is made of, broadly speaking, 5 elements. So these 5 elements are taken to be the one which is an effect of the unknown reality. So by seeing because the reality being incomprehensible, let us start from what is known. From the known to the unknown. So what is known matter? What is known is Panchabhutas. Okay. Let us do the Panchabhuta Viveka, discriminating the 5 elements, analysis on the 5 elements, and slowly we reach towards the cause of it. And that is the method used in this particular prakarana. Panchabhuta Viveka Prakaranam. Any doctor also, he will look at the symptoms and they go to the cause. Right? Symptomatic treatment. If somebody is very fat and he or she says, I never eat. So you may not be eating during the day, but you must be eating in the night. Or you may be eating when nobody is noticing it. So this methodology of knowing a thing through looking at the effect, another meaning is called Arthapatti. Arthapatti Pramana. I will not go into the details of the difference between Anumana Pramana, Arthapatti Pramana. Arthapatti Pramana requires Shruti Jnana for that. You cannot use logic there. You need Shabda Pramana for that. So here, Panchabhuta Viveka is what is taken up. All right. So the first verse we read, Sadatvaidam Shrutam Yattat Panchabhuta Vivekataha Bodhum Shakyam Tato Bhuta Panchakam Pravivichyate Sadatvaidam Shrutam Yattad Panchabhuta Vivekataha Bodhum Shakyam Tato Bhuta Panchakam Pravivichyate. Sad, that is reality, the absolute reality. Advaitam, it is one without a second or non-dual, which is Shrudam, heard. From where? From the Shruti. Shrutam, Shrutidvarena Shrutam, Jnatam. From the Shruti, from the scriptures, we come to know. Now, please understand, when we come to know about Vedanta or study Vedanta, we must recognize Shruti as Pramana. Otherwise, clueless you will become. You cannot use your own logic to understand things. The reality can be known only when we take some authority. So Shruti is a Pramana for us. Vedas are the Pramana. If no Pramana is taken, no knowledge will take place. See, when I see a flower, what is a Pramana for me? my eyes. If I don't believe my eyes, then there is no flower there. Can I see the flower without taking the eyes to be reporting to me correctly? Without believing my ears, can I understand what is sound? So in the same way, to understand reality, the pramana is what? What is the means to know? Shruti. That's why it's called Shrutam here. Pramana is Shruti. Shruti means Upanishad, not Puranas. Here, Shruti is to be understood as Vaidika documents which are related to Vedas. Sad Advaitam Shrutam. Yat Tat, that which is Panchabhuta Vivekataha. Vivekataha Panchami. Vivekat. Through the differentiation of discrimination of 5 elements. Bodhum Shakyam. It is possible to know. Tataha, therefore, Bhuta Panchakam Pavivichyate. Therefore, the topic of 5 elements are taken up. The scientific approach of reality is by categorization of matter, which is what the science also has done. With any developed science, definitely, first of all, categorize. Categorization based upon the behavior. A gasic element will behave different than the liquid element. A liquid element will behave different from the earthly element. Right? Earth doesn't move, water moves. And so we know what is gasic, what is liquid, what is solid. The science, that's how it proceeds. In the same way, Vedanta says, unless we understand the constituent elements of this whole world, we will not be able to discriminate. And it is important to categorize because everything has got limitation. So we go from the limited perception about the world to understand the unlimited which is operating from behind. Now, if you get up next morning and switch on the light, your bedroom light, and light is not there, let us say, first thing that you will think is power is not there. How did you know? Because I switched on. Light didn't come. There is a possibility the bulb has gone. But that is not what you think first, right? Power is not there. Then you saw fan is moving. That means power is there. Something wrong with the bulb. Correct? The fan is also not moving. Maybe you also switched off a long time back, or it is timed timer. Then you look at the alarm clock. That is on. So alarm clock is on, the bulb is not. So you keep on discriminating, correct? What would be the cause of it? So from the gross to the subtle we go, and even if you see the alarm clock is also not there, I mean not lit up, then you go to the plug point and see what is wrong with there. Everything is plugged to a plug point. You go. Then the strip of what do you call the strip what do you call plug thing, somebody switched off that. Oh, power strip, that is switched, somebody switched off. You put on the power strip, that is also not light coming. What is this? Then you go to where it was plugged in onto the wall, and there is a what you call trip, you know. You press one and you press the trip, and it comes. Oh, it's tripped. That's why it's not coming. You have doubt about that also. Then open and put your hand. Then you will know it's really there or not. Or if you go, okay, there also it is not coming. Then you trip, you press that in. Then you go to the nearest junction, where the power box is there. You go there and open it. What has happened here? So you go from gross to the subtle. In the same way, here this analysis is taken up. So that method of discrimination through which bodhum shakyam, advaidam bodhum shakyam, we'll come to know that one without a second by this proper discrimination. So many of you who have studied, Vedanta Sara or any other subject, there are many different ways of doing the discriminations. Panchabhuta Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Avastatraya Viveka, Gunatraya Viveka. See, this very word Viveka is used in Gita as yoga. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Bhagavan calls it as a method of understanding, yoga. Here it is used as Viveka. All right. Now this portion, I don't need to much explain because you all know it. But anyway, we will see this. Shabdasparsho Ruparasau Gandho Bhutagana ime Trichadu Panchagunaha Trichadu Panchaguna Vyomadishukramat. Shabdasparshau. Shabdascha Sparshascha Shabdasparshau. Dvandva samas. Sound and touch. Then Ruparasau, form and taste. Gandha, smell. Bhutaganaha, of the nature of the elements, properties. Ime, these. Eka, dvi, tri, chadu, panchagunaha. Eka, dvi, tri, chadu, panchagunaha. As the properties of each one of them, qualities of each one of them, in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vyomadishu kramat. From space onwards in succession, in accordance, successively. Which is to say, Shabda is the first one. Sparsha is the second. Rupa, third. Rasa, 4. Gandha, 5. In this way, the qualities are found in space onward. Which is to say, one quality is found in space, 2 qualities are found in air, 3 qualities are found in fire, 4 qualities are found in water, and 5 qualities are found in earth. This is not something which is you don't know. We all know, but we never thought about it. Now you look at it, sound. Do you see sound? No. Taste? Sound? No. Smell? No. Touch? No. So I cannot touch the sound, I cannot see the sound, I cannot smell the sound, I cannot taste the sound, but the sound is there. Similarly, space. Can you see? No. Taste? No. Smell? No. Touch? No. But I can hear. Because sound travels in space. Though I don't see, hear, I don't see, smell, taste, or touch, but I can hear. Correct? Because you hear, therefore, that sense organ because of which you are able to hear is called ear. Right? Oh, I hear. What? Because I have a ear. So through ears only, you come to know the existence of sound, which does not have any other quality. The space, which is of the nature of sound, which has the quality of sound, sorry. But at the same time, when you see air, you can hear and touch. When air is there, you can feel the air is there. But can you hear the sound also? The air movement, breeze, wind. In fact, in Veda, in our Shastra, there are 49 aspects of the air are described. Think about it. These people have done a lot of research on that. 49, 7 categories of 7 each. I think they have too much of time in their hand. They categorize everything in torn categories. This is breeze, this is wind. Or various categories. We only know 2: air, wind, breeze. 3 maybe. Storms are also there. Henry. They are also wind only. Tornado. They're all products of wind only. Vayu. So here, Shabdasparsho Rupa Rasau Gandho Bhutaganaha ime Eka Dvi Tri Chadu Panchagunaha Vyomadishu. From space onwards, Kramat. In their successive order, meaning space has got 1, as I said, air 2, and then fire 3, water 4, and earth 5. Okay, all right. Continuing here. Pradidvanir Viyat Shabdo Vayo Visidi Shabdanam Anushna Shida Samsparsho Vahnau Bhugu Dvanihi Pradidvanir Viyat Shabdo Vayo Visidi Shabdanam Anushna Shida Samsparsho Vakno Bhugu Dvanihi. Pratidvani. Dvani means sound. Pratidvani means resound. Re-sound, which is echo. So if you go to a top of a mountain and shout, I hate you, what will you hear? I love you. No. You hear the same which you uttered again and again and again. That's called echo. Now, where is the echo coming from? It is resounding only in the air, in the space. So the space, by its nature, has the ability to carry sound, or the sound travels in space. Similarly, if you keep your eyes closed, sorry, ears closed, now with your hands, you hear a sound. That is to say, the sound is in space. Pradidvanihi viyat. Viyat means the space. Viyat shabda. It is a property or the quality or the nature of space. And the very same sound in the form of a rustling motion when there is vayu. When the wind is blowing, you hear zzz. That's called BCED sound. BC. BC here means zzz. That sound is coming. So that sound is also heard of the movement of the air. So that means air also has got sound. Not only space, air also has got sound. Iti Shabdan. And this Vayu, it is neither hot nor cold to the touch. Correct? Air by itself is neither cold or not hot. Anushna Ashida Samsparshau. Anushna, not hot. Ashita, not cold. Air does not have the quality of touch. Space does not have the quality of touch. That's we are talking about space now. It does not have. So air has got the quality of sound and air. And space does not have the quality of the air. It has only one quality, sound. It does not have the quality of the air, which is touch. The touch is the exclusive quality of air at the present moment, which is not found in space. But Vayu has got sound and air. Because of the sound, zzz, sound comes. But in the fire, it has got three qualities. Sound. That's why it's given bugu bugu dhvani. When the fire is there, you can hear the sound. That's a bugu 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 bugu. That's why in Hindi ne bhook lagta hai. Fire of anger, bhook bhook bhook. Bhook bhook bhook. So the fire has got the sound, and obviously it has the touch also. If you have a doubt, put your hand and you will know it. So it has heat, the quality of heat. And another thing about the fire is you can see it, which air you cannot. Now you see. Ushnasparsha prabharupam Jale bulabula dvanihi bulubulu dvanihi Shridasparsha shukla rupam Raso madhurya viritam Ushnasparsha prabharupam Jale bulubula dvanihi Shridasparsha shukla rupam Raso madhurya miritam. Now fire is by touch, it is ushna, hot by touch. Ushna Sparsha, and it has additional quality of Prabha Rupam. Prabha means manifestation or color, shine, brilliance. So there is the possibility of seeing the fire, which is not found in either space or in air. So one unique quality about fire compared to sound, compared to air and space, is this form. All right. So space has got only the sound as its quality. Air has got sound and touch. Fire has got sound, touch, and form. Okay, water has got a sound, bulu bulu, bulu bulu. When you even, especially when you're cooking and then the water starts boiling, blu, 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 blu. Or even a spring water coming out, that also makes that sound. Bulu bulu dhvani. And by touch, it is cold. Shita sparsha. Cold by touch. And it has a form. Shukla Rupam, clear or white color. Clear color or white color. But it has got one additional quality called rasa, taste. Which is said, it's usually water taste is madhuryam, sweet taste. Now without any sugar also. So when you are very thirsty, when you drink, obviously the water tastes so good, original water. And not the sea water or the mineral water, etc. The original water has got its own taste. Bhagavan Krishna says, taste in the water is me. So these are the 4 qualities of water. Sound, touch, cold by touch, and color is of white, and taste. So 4 qualities. So we have coming into more and more qualities here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5. All the 5 are found in earth. Bhumau kadakada shabdah Katinyam sparsha ishyate Neeladikam chitra rupam Maduramladiko rasaha. Bhumau kadakada shabdah Katinyam sparsha ishyate Neeladikam chitra rupam Maduramladiko rasaha. Bhumau, in the earth, kata kata shabdah, the sound of kata 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 kata. Because when a rock is broken or rock is falling down, it would not make bulu bulu shabda. It's not like bugu bugu. It is a kata kata. So it is making that sound. That means it has sound in its nature. Katinyam, by touch it is so hard. Firm and hard by touch. Katinyam sparsha ishyate. Neeladikam chitra rupam. Usually a rock or earth is in the form of blue-black color. Because of the combination of other things, only it looks brown or black, other colors. But originally, if you want to see the earth, it is nothing but the mountains in the form of rocks. They are the original earth. And that is when it is due to various geographical situation, it has become powder or made into small little, what do you call that, granules, and then mixed with all minerals, it starts to have different kinds of color combinations. But originally is black, blue. Neela, Neela Adikam, Chitra Rupam, a variety of colors also afterwards. And if you see salt and many other such products that is coming out, the taste will be Madura Amladikam, sweet, sour. These are all the various kinds of tastes that also are found in the earth. So earth has got a unique quality of taste. Also, see, interesting thing is water's taste is what? Sweet. But when it is mixed with the earth, it becomes. But its special quality is one more. What is that? Smell. The smell is of the nature of the earth, unique nature of the earth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the fifth quality of smell is given here. Surabhitara gandho dvau. Samyak guna samyak vivechitaha. Srotram tvak chakshushi jihva. Granam chendriya panjakam. Surabhitara gandho dvau guna samyak vivechitaha. Srotram tvak chakshushi jihva. Granam chendriya panjakam. Surabhi itara. Surabhi means that which is pleasant, acceptable, tolerable smell. Itara means opposite to that, unpleasant. So pleasant and unpleasant smell are also found in the earth. Dvau gunaha. These two are the qualities, good and bad odor. And thus these, all the 5 elements are samyak vivechitaha, very well classified. It is observation of the fact of things. It is not somebody's assumption. By your own analysis, you will find these are all the qualities of the 5 elements. It is not something which is somebody's opinion or an idea, proposition, suggestion. No. It is a fact. And interesting thing is, each of those 5 elements are connected to 5 sense organs of our body. For example, Shabda. Shabda, or the sound, that is a quality of space, can be heard only by Shrotram, by the ear. And Sparsha, which is a quality, the unique quality of Vayu, can be known only by Tvak, that is our skin with the organ of touch. And the form of the fire, unique quality of the fire, can be known only by Chakshushi, through the organ of vision or sight. And the quality of water, which is taste, Jihva, by our tongue, organ of taste. Then the quality of the earth, which is smell, can be known only by the sense organ, which is nose, Granam. So, Indriya Panchakam. These are the 5 organs of perception. So the method of knowing each one of them is by a particular sense organ. With the eyes, as earlier I said, with the eyes I cannot know the space. Space can be known only through the ears. because its quality is sound. Similarly, to form, which is a quality of the fire, can be known only by the eyes and not by the hands, not by the touch, not by the sound. In this way, 5 elements having unique qualities, also added qualities of the earlier ones, are comprehended by 5 sense organs, organs of perception. So Vedanta puts the relationship between Indriya Panchakam and Bhuta Panchakam. The organs of perception, 5 in number, and the 5 elements. The correlation is maintained. Swamiji, this we know. What are you saying? Something? It is you are teaching like a 4th grade or 5th grader. This is all we know. Yeah. From the known to the unknown, I told, right? From the known to the unknown, only we have to move. So slowly we'll proceed there. Now, when we say ability to hear, taste, smell, etc., it is not this ear, external. It is the faculty of hearing, not the physical apparatus. Similarly, ability to see is not this, but the faculty of seeing. The external organ is only a external, what you call, instrument, not the ability. It's an instrument. You have a telescope. Telescope doesn't see. You see through the telescope. Is it not? That you has to be there. You have to be there to see through the telescope. Telescope doesn't see anything. I have a stethoscope. I don't know what to do with that, because I have not heard or I have not learned how to use the stethoscope. And even without putting into my ears, I just put it in your heart. What will I hear? Nothing. And even if I put it in my ears and put it in on your chest, lub dub. Everybody got the same thing. What is the big deal? No, but then you have to know what is that method, the science of knowing that. So the external instruments are there, but the internal organs are not there, then it is useless. When you are sleeping, do you close your ears? Ears are open, but do you hear? You tell your husband also, even with the ears open, when you are awake also, you don't hear. Obviously, you don't hear anything when I am talking to you when you're asleep. We don't close our nose while sleeping. But do we smell? Now, the external instrument is not the one. But it is using an external instrument to reach out to the world. Meaning, grasping the information from the world happens through the instrument by the sense of faculty. That is said here, Karnadi Golakastam Tat. Shabdadigraham kramat. Sokshmyat karyanumeyam tat. Prayo davet bahirmukham. Karnadi golakastam tat shabdadigrahakam kramat. Sokshmyat karyanumeyam tat. Prayo dhavet bahirmukham. Karna adi, ear, etc. Golakastam. Golaka means instrument. Golakastam, that which is seated in that, or through the external apparatus, tad shabdadi grahakam, the ability to hear. Ability to hear is happening through the external instrument of physical ear. Kramat, successively, because karnadi it is given. So ear, etc. So ear, which is for sound, connected to space. Tok, that is skin, for sparsha. Then what is called tongue. Is this meant for the quality of water to be understood? Before that, it is form through the eyes, and taste through the tongue, and smell through the nose. Kramat. And each one is, the previous one is, the first one is subtler than the next one. Saukshmyat, being of the nature of subtle. So space is the most subtle. Little grosser than this air. Grosser than that is the fire. Grosser than that is the water. And grossest one is the earth. Similarly, ears are the subtlemost. And then the skin, then the eyes, then the tongue, and then the nose. In this way, they have subtlety. So the five senses successively function through the external apparatus, the gross organs, ear, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose. The senses are subtle. Their presence is to be inferred from their functions. Karyanumeyam. They can be known only by inferentially. Tat prayaha daved bahirmukham. But these five sense organs, which are of the nature of comprehending the five different qualities of the Panchabhutas, are always engaged in going outward. They never turn inside. They go outward because their function is to go outward, to find out externally Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandham. Now, since the five sense organs are always engaged in external oriented experiences, it is necessary that we need to curtail them to go inward. So that is why it is says, Paranchikani Pidranat Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyatina Antaratman. The five sense organs are always external oriented. That is how it is created. We'll see more of it in the next session. It's on 29th. 29th, we also have in the evening of 29th, Janmashtami celebration here. You can, there is no, nobody is allowed to come to the center to be participate, but you will see through the YouTube channel. Okay, puja will happen as well as the performance by Swaranjali. That will be seen, can be seen through Chinmaya channel. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.